Welcome to a bonus week of our top 10 Monday morning quarterback clips. We'd also like to take a moment to thank our film review team for the time that they've put in to provide more than 110 clips and bonus clips for your training and educational purposes. We'd also like to take a moment for a special thank you to you, our officials, for taking the time and energy to provide the opportunity of high school football for the student athletes of New Mexico. Please welcome Victor Sanchez for our bonus week, number 11 of our Monday morning quarterback clips.
Welcome to week 11 of the Commissioner's Top 10 Plays. We are in full playoff mode. Every game is win or go home, so let's make sure that we are on top of our game. Let's have good pre-games, and let's make sure that we are covering the field as we've been expecting you to cover all year. We've done a really good job of improving, and it shows in some of the videos that we've been watching. This week we'll be covering what is and is not holding fouls and looking at the two-step process for holding, and we're also going to be looking at crew communication. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to open up with a kickoff play where we have a missed call and then an incorrect call, and we just want to talk about where we're looking and what is and is not a hold on this play. We're going to see that we're getting ready to have this kickoff. We'll speed it up through this particular part. So the return team is going to catch the ball, and we're going to take a look at this return team player right here, right about the 28-yard line. We're going to see him come up and make a block at the 30, and you can see right there's a reverse takedown. The arrow is coming from the referee's view. Referee, you should have this foul. You need to get this foul. This is a pretty clear and obvious reverse takedown. So make sure that we are looking where we're supposed to look, and let's get this foul. We did not have a flag for holding here, and we should have. Next, take your attention to the circle where number 33 has his jersey being pulled. While this may look like a foul for holding, this is not holding, and you're going to see why, and I'll rewind it to show you. The player never really loses any step. There is a minor restriction, but not enough that we would want to be called for a foul. If you look right there, he's trying to get away from the block. So we'd want to make sure that we have a clear and obvious restriction here, but then he's going to spin out of that block and continue towards the runner and make help with making that tackle. So again, I'll play this back for you one more time. While this does look like a foul, we do not want this called for holding. This is not a hold. This player has a minor restriction and is able to move freely throughout the play. Play 2 this week involves back judge positioning on scrimmage kicks, especially punts, and then an unnecessary roughness foul that we do not get that needs to be called on the field. So we're going to see this play start. We're going to have a punt. The kicker gets it off. And right here I have our back judge identified. He started off way too close to the punt returner. We want you to be, 7, maybe 8, 9, even up 10 yards deep and at an angle with the punt returner. Had to have started within 5 yards of this play and ends up getting backed up underneath the ball. You can see right here the ball is in the air. The returner is going to kick it, and now the back judge really is in no man's land, is not able to officiate this safely or properly. So then we're going to see that this returner is going to get hit from behind, and we have a beanbag out, which indicates that someone must have touched this ball, which must have been the returner. Then this ball is going to get picked up and returned by the return team. But by this time, we've put ourselves in a pretty bad position. Now, I want you to take a look at the player indicated by the arrow here, who's going to just take out what is our punter on this play. This is an unnecessary roughness foul, and referee and backside wing, you really should have a look at this play and have a flag on this play. This is the type of football we do not want in our game. So back judges, make sure you're deep and wide of your punt returner, and when they start backing up, back up with him. Do not get caught underneath the play as this official did. You put yourself in a very dangerous position. You're not able to judge who does or does not touch that ball or whether that kick ends properly. Our third play this week involves a holding foul that we do not want called during the game. Now you're going to see during this play that we do have a hold, we do have a restriction, but calling holding is a two-step process. We want to make sure that we see the hold and the restriction, and then we want to find the ball and make sure that the hold and restriction has material effect on the play. And as you're going to see from this example, we have a hold in the middle of the field. We're going to look at our left tackle, and our umpire and our referee are going to have a great look at these. First, the referee, this is your primary key, so you should be able to pick up this and make a judgment on it. Umpire, this is outside of your guard, tackle, guard keys. So why we're throwing on this, we're not clear, but we want you to really be patient on throwing this flag if you recognize the hold. But as you see this play develop, you're going to see the left tackle. He's going to grab and restrict this player, and the ball is already away when the restriction happens. I'll play it back for you one more time. So while we do have a hold, we have a grab, and we have a twist, and a takedown, that ball is already away. The point being here is that we have to look at this foul and gauge as whether or not it had material effect on the play, and the ball is being passed as this hold is occurring, and so therefore it doesn't have any material impact on the play. Now, had the hold happened earlier in the play, we would want this called for a foul. But since it happened so late and that the ball is literally out of the quarterback's hands when this foul is recognized and identified, we do not want it thrown for holding. Now that the umpire threw the foul, that should raise our antenna as the referee, as this is your key, and there should be a conversation about picking this flag up, and we would support this flag being picked up. We do not want this type of foul called for holding, and not that it's not a hold, it's the timing of the foul. If you look again, we have a hold right there, and the ball has just left the quarterback's hands. The timing is not in the proper sequence for this to be considered holding, and we want to pass on this type of foul. Our next play today is going to show a breakdown in mechanics, and we're going to have an incorrect call for a blindside block. Right now I have our back judge highlighted. Referees, if you see that this snap is imminent and your crew is not in position, go ahead and stop this and reset the play clock to 25 and get everybody in position. As this happens, this ball is going to be snapped. We're going to have a back judge that's completely and totally out of position, which then is going to lead to an incorrect call for a blindside block. So I'll let it play. You can see the back judge is yet to get position and this ball is snapped. Now we're going to have a long run up the left hash, and now the back judge right here is caught in the middle of the field. You're going to see that his eyes are on the runner, and we have players that have gotten behind him. So the players that are circled up top in the end zone, I want you to look at them and look at the action by the blocker in gray coming from the outside. He's going to execute a side block with open hands. He knocks the player down. So this is a legal blindside block. This is what we want the players to do. We want them to block with hands extended. Sorry about that, got locked up here. We want them to block with hands extended and no force. This is a legal blindside block, not a foul. Our head linesman has a look at this and for some reason has no opinion on this, but we're going to see our back judge react to the contact and throw a flag. So this is really where we have a huge mechanical breakdown, and we end up calling back a score on this play. First, we started off with the back judge out of position. Had the back judge been in position, he may have been in a better spot at the goal line to see this play and recognize that these players were behind him. Secondly, our head linesman, with a great look at this particular foul, or not a foul, fails to step in and pick this flag up. And then thirdly, we have a reaction call by our back judge. And what I've said before, we want to see the result of contact. We do not want to see, we want to see contact and then the result. We don't want to just react to the result of contact. And what we have here is you can see him looking at the running back, and then out of the side of his peripheral vision, he sees those players on the ground and reacts by throwing a flag for illegal blindside block, which is an incorrect call. So a lot of things on this play We want to get these right. Referees, if everybody's not in position, just reset the play clock. Let's get in good position so we can officiate these plays. Secondly, communicate as a crew. Head linesman, you should have come in and had your back judge pick up this flag. You had a great look at this block. This is not a blindside block. This is what we are wanting kids to do. Block with two hands extended in front of them. And yes, they went to the ground. If they have two hands in front of them, that by rule and definition is not an illegal blindside block. Play 5 today again involves mechanics and a mechanical breakdown on a play. I have our head linesman highlighted at the top with the arrow, and our line judge is located somewhere near the end of this arrow. We're snapping the ball what seems to be about the 6, maybe 7 yard line going in towards the end zone. So what we need to make sure of is that line of scrimmage officials have the goal line from the 15-yard line and in. When you get closer to this goal line inside the 10, you really need to make your way to that goal line immediately once the ball's snapped. I've talked a lot this season about not moving. This is one of the situations where we do need you moving. We need you getting to the goal line because that is the most important line on the field right now. So you're going to see as this ball is snapped, if you look at the motions of our head linesman up top, you're going to see that he does not really make a concerted effort to get to that goal line. He's just kind of stepping down and walking to the goal line. We want to see you moving with purpose here and getting to that goal line in a hurry. Again, you look down at our line judge, same thing, not moving with a lot of purpose to the goal line. We want you to get there, so go ahead and hustle down to that goal line, because if you look at what happens on this play, we're going to get a pass over the middle. It's going to be caught by the player in blue, and there is contact by 3 players on him right at the goal line. Now, the line judge is looking at it, the head linesman is going to be looking at this, but we are in no position to judge whether or not this ball is in or outside of the end zone. So if this was a touchdown, we missed it, because you're going to see our head linesman come in and he's going to mark this ball short of the goal line. And if you look towards the right side of the screen, you're going to see our line judge mirroring that short ruling of the goal line. Had we been at the goal line, we could have 100% confidence to know whether or not this was short or in the end zone. So as you go through your pre-games this week, talk about goal line mechanics going into the goal line, especially line of scrimmage officials, making sure that once you were inside the 15, you are getting to that goal line, and especially inside the 10-yard line. Get to that goal line so you can judge whether or not the plane was crossed or not. Our next play today involves great crew communication and a correct no call for intentional grounding. We're going to see that we're going to get this ball snapped with quarterback in the shotgun position. We're snapping the ball right at the 34-yard line. We're going to see I've outlined approximately where the free blocking zone ends with the 2 tackles on each side. So we're going to see this quarterback's going to receive a snap, and he immediately rolls to his left. At this point, he is completely outside the tackle box. Now, the rule for illegal grounding, that is legally grounding the ball, is that he has to get the ball either into an area where there is a receiver, or he can throw the ball away, provided that he makes the ball back to the line of scrimmage. And this includes the extended line of scrimmage out of bounds. So we're going to see him throw this ball under duress, but it's going to make it back to the line of scrimmage. It goes out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage at the 34, but it lands clearly beyond the 34 on the track. So I'll replay that for you one more time. As he's under duress, since he's outside of the free blocking zone, what we would call the tackle box, this ball is legally grounded out of bounds. Now, the head linesman does an excellent job of communicating to the referee that the ball did cross the line of scrimmage. Even though it crossed out of bounds, it crossed the line of scrimmage, and therefore this is a legal grounding of the ball and not a foul. Correct no call for intentional grounding on this play. Great crew communication. Excellent job on this play, guys. Play 7 this week involves a correct call for a blindside block. This is a really good job of picking up this block by the referee. We're going to look at our middle linebacker, who's indicated by the arrow in our left end in a trips formation down at the bottom of the screen. Key-wise, this would be a back judge key along with the line judge, but as the play develops, the back judge may get pulled off of this, but we would like the back judge to have a flag on this, as this would be your block to look at. But the referee does a good job of picking up this foul. Umpire, this is a front side play, so we would imagine that you'd be able to have an opinion on this foul as well. So we're going to just see 84 turn, line him up, and knock him down, and our referee has a flag down for this foul, so good job to get this foul. But mechanically, we would like to see this flag come from either the umpire or the back judge. Again, as this play develops right about here, back judge, you really have nothing to look at except number 84. Umpire, you're probably looking at blocks. The block by number 70, I want to say 77. It's happening right around the 32-yard line. And line judge, you're looking at the block about to happen by number 3 on the player in green. So we can get this foul from a number of different places. Back judge, we'd like you to have this flag down, but referee, great job recognizing this illegal blindside block and flagging it properly. Good work on this play. Play number 8 this week involves mechanics and foul recognition and making sure that we finish the play. First, want to highlight the proper mechanics by our line judge on this play. We're going to see that we got a receivers going downfield, and our line judge is holding the line as he's supposed to. So great job mechanically on this play, line judge. This is exactly what we want you to do, to hold that line even though receivers are going downfield. What we're also going to see is we're going to have a foul thrown by our umpire. There appears to be a hold in the middle of the field, so our umpire throws a flag for holding. Then we're going to get a pass out to the player in green, number 10, who's going to start running up the field. Now, we still have to finish officiating this play, and I'm going to highlight this player in green who's going to execute an illegal blindside block against the player in white, and we're going to miss this foul. Umpire, this is your foul to pick up, and we need you to be on this play. Again, you can see the contact by the player in green is completely and totally out of the vision of the player. This is an illegal blindside block. Now, the umpire did not get this foul, which doesn't mean he's the only one that can get this. Our line of scrimmage official on the bottom, the line judge, should have a look at this foul as well, as you're sweeping up backside of the play. And if there is a back judge on this particular play, we would not expect you to have this. If you do get it, great, but you should be looking at blocks ahead of the runner. So really, this is left up to the umpire, the line judge, and the referee if possible. But if you look at this contact, this is an illegal blindside block, and we do need to get this foul. So talk about this type of play in your pregame, and remember, once you have a flag down, doesn't mean the play is over. You need to finish refereeing the play. If you've already have a flag on the ground, then your hat is the next thing to come down as a penalty marker. And if you have a third foul, which hopefully you don't, but if you have a third foul, you can use a beanbag as a penalty marker. Play 9 this week is another example of a holding foul we do not want thrown, and recognizing what is and is not holding. We're going to take a look at our left guard and our D tackle here. They're going to engage, and you're going to see as they engage right here, you got two players dancing, and the ball is clearly off to the right of the formation. Our umpire is looking at the action, and if you look at the umpire, you're going to see him think about it and then drop his flag. What we didn't do here is we didn't use a two-step process to determine, first, is this holding? This is not holding, but if this was holding, we still would not want a flag for a foul here, as this ball is way outside, and this hold, if it is even a hold, does not have any material effect on the play. So use the two-step process when judging holding. One, you need to have a clear restriction that is clear and obvious, and then two, you need to have a material impact on the play. This ball is so far outside of the formation that we would prefer you not throw a flag on this and move on with officiating up the field. Now, mechanically, we have a second breakdown. Our back judge gets caught in the wash. and really needs to not backpedal, needs to turn and run and get to the goal line at this particular point. Luckily, this player does pass inside the pylon for a touchdown, but our back judge is not in a good position to determine that if it were any closer to the pylon. Now, unfortunately, because we had a flag down on this play, we're calling back a touchdown on this play, which we really should not have, because this block that is deemed a hold, A, is not a hold, and B, has no material effect on the play. So make sure we're using a two-step process on plays like this. Recognize your foul and then look for the location of the ball. If it does not have material effect on the ball, pass and move on to the next block on the play. Similar to the previous play, we're going to have a restriction or potential restriction in the middle of the field, and we're going to have a ball that is clearly away from that restriction. We're going to look at our left tackle. Again, our umpire is going to have a flag down. Our left tackle this time does have hold. This is a hold in the middle of the field, but we need a two-step process to locate the ball. Our umpire does not do that. Make sure we find out where the ball is, because this should not be thrown for a foul. It has no material impact on the play. And then we're going to get a second foul. We're going to see that our back judge should have eyes on this player in white, or this cluster of players at least, and our umpire should by this time have turned to officiate this play, and we're going to see this defensive player take a cheap shot at one of the offensive players right around the 16-yard line. We missed this egregious foul here for unnecessary roughness, and we should have had an offset on this play. So instead of having an offsetting foul with the hold and then the UNR by the defensive player, we instead only have a hold on what seems to be a pretty good gain by the offense. So this ends up being a 24-yard swing against the offense because we were not looking in the right places. So in your pre-games this week, not necessarily this play, but plays similar to this, let's talk about coverage, what is and is not a foul, but also finishing the play and having wide vision so we can see these types of things and make sure we get this second foul. Going back to the original hold, again, I will reiterate that fouls that do not have material impact on the play should not be called. Make sure you locate the ball when you do have a foul and that foul has material impact on the play. Now, non-football plays such as this hit by the defender here don't have to have an impact on the play. These are fouls anywhere on the field because they do not have any business in football. This is a cheap shot and obviously retaliatory for something that happened earlier in the game. Our bonus play this week involves a catch or an interception. I'm going to let it play once and then we're going to come back and talk about the process. After the ball is snapped, we're going to see if we can get a long pass down the field. Catch by the offense, interception by the defense. That's the question here. So there is a provision in the rules for simultaneous catches, and the provision in the rules says that if you have a simultaneous catch, possession is retained by the offense. So in this particular play, we need to really make a decision as to who has this ball. We prefer that we do not go with simultaneous catch because that defaults to the offense. We want to reward who does make this particular catch. And in this particular play, we want to talk about the process of a catch. So the process of a catch involves three pieces. One, it involves control of the ball. Right here, it seems that the player in red has control of the ball. It involves establishing a body part in bounds. We see our player in red with a foot on the ground. And then it involves an act common to the game or surviving the ground if the players are going to the ground. So right here, as he begins to fight with the player in white for the ball, we would consider that an act common to the game. And therefore, we would say that this is an interception. Based on the criteria that we use to determine what is and is not a catch, this player in red has completed the catch before the player in white has completed the catch because he has met all 3 criteria for a catch: possession of the ball, body part down, and an act common to the game. A good way to think about this is to go through this process in your head. Who has hands on the ball first? Player in red had hands on the ball first. Next, who came to the ground first? Now, if the other player that did not have the hands on the ball first is on the ground already, then those two kind of wash with each other. The next step is act common to the game or surviving the ground. So who is on the ground or who has that ball and is committing an act common to the game. And at the end of this play, we see that the player in red clearly has the ball in his possession. So we would support this as an interception. These plays are tough plays to officiate. They're not easy, but we get paid to make the decision on this type of play. So as you see these plays happen, if you have a play like this happen, think of process. Who completed the process of a catch first? And we should award that team, that player, the ball in this particular instance. Tough play to work. Make sure you're reviewing that process. And if you get this type of play, go through that process, make a decision, and go with it. Everybody have a great week. If you have a playoff game this week, travel safe. Good luck to you, and give your best effort to these kids. They've worked all season to qualify for these playoffs, and it's win or go home. So have great games this week and travel safe.
Thank you for watching our final installment of our Top 10 Quarterback Clips. Thank you for a great season.